in the other hand, I've seen like this idea with parents, like the child needs to be all the time happy, and
Yeah,
kind
right.
of,
Making the child happy all the time. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like sometimes I kind of I feel like the child is leading how the schedule goes, how the priorities are going, how the day goes, and is that right?
Yeah, we call that spoiled in a way because you're right. The child is controlling the parent because the parent is afraid to be the parent. He's afraid to get the child upset, or maybe that child has taught the parent, if you don't give me what I want, I'll throw a trauma, I mean, a tantrum. And so, or something like that. And so you're actually training them to be bullies and controllers. You're not training them to learn to live together in peace and harmony and to submit to what needs to be done. And parents are sometimes afraid to be firm. And or if there's more than one child and one takes up all the energy and attention and the other two or three or whatever are being neglected, that also becomes a stress. But these children, you're afraid to say no, give them everything they want. This is parenting as a coward. You're not really standing up for truth. They think they get everything, and that's called entitlement. And I think a lot of this generation, not making a stereotype that it's not their fault, but they have been grown up. We've given them everything, just the video games, the computers, the electronics, the devices, the phones, just to keep them shut up, keep them entertained, keep them away from us so we can have our adult life, whatever that is. And so now they become entitled. We just give them stuff to keep them quiet, and we pay for all of this and pay for all of that. And they don't have to earn anything. They don't have to, contribute into the family. And on the other side, you have parents who have very little, and their children have to learn how to work. They have to learn how to, get a job. They have to learn how to be good at their job so that they don't get fired. We've got, all kinds of examples out there of how children, are raised, and how that raising then becomes demonstrated in how they do jobs, how they get, a lot of kids nowadays, if they don't like the job and it's hard, they quit in 4 days or 2 days. It's too hard to work in fast food, or it's too hard to, pull weeds in the beans or whatever it is. It's too hard. So they don't need the money because they can go back to mom and dad and get a $20 bill every time they need something, or the parent puts the gas in the tank or whatever. And so they don't have any responsibilities that force them to have to grow up.
Also, I'm having this question: how we can help the kids to understand the real life, like the real life. In the real life, you will not be happy all the time. You will not get everything when you want, and you will not get what you want, and you will not get it easy sometimes.
Let them see real life as you live it, as you respond to the problems in your own life, the disappointments, the deaths, the sicknesses, the put downs, the attacks, the gossip. However you respond is what you're teaching them, and that is, a lot of things are more caught than taught. You don't sit down and lecture them; they just pick it up through example.
That makes sense. Yeah. I was having also this question about the difference between education and indoctrination. I think it's important to see the difference between those, because I think sometimes parents just stop the Christian education because they are afraid of being accused of indoctrinating the kids.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, education is indoctrination. We can educate them in the worldviews, the world goals, the world's appetites, the things of the world, that we can train them to seek after those things, money, careers, prestige, power, whatever. Or we can train them and teach them the things of God, which are lasting and eternal and much more valuable. So in the church, they have to make a conscious decision to, first of all, value the children, see them as a precious treasure and a sacred stewardship of the children, and begin to not indoctrinate them in the ways of the world, but deliberately, specifically teach them. I don't even know if the word is educate, because education is used by the enemy a lot to educate us in the wrong ways. But I think to train them up in the way that they should go, as the Bible says, and be deliberate about it, and be specific about it, and be and have people in that department, the children's ministry, that actually love children, that actually would put the child before themselves and have and get the instruction from God on how to bring that lesson to the child, and that during that service, um, that Sunday school service or whatever it is, and for the parents to be consistent also at home, so that the same message is being taught at the church as at home, and so there's not hypocrisy, because the children, when they see hypocrisy and they see double standards, they lose all respect for whoever it is that's teaching them that. And the children are really looking for persons who are genuine, people who genuinely love them. I remember not very long ago, um, I had a conversation with a young man who I'd never talked to before. He came to church, and I just spent about a half an hour just visiting with him, and I learned so much about him. And he was, you just brush him off. Oh, he's just a kid. He's just a teenager. He's not going to be wanting to talk to an old woman like me. But he sat there and we talked and talked, and I found out all kinds of things about his life. Um, like he'd had this. We had an awesome conversation, and he was very deep in what he was thinking, and I would just ask him questions and probe a little bit. And I don't think he'd ever had a chance to talk about his life to anyone before. Maybe he had. Maybe when he got in trouble, they'd sit him down and lecture him. I don't know. But he came out into, and this is what children need. They need someone to let them talk about, learn about who they are too. And I think the church can be a big part of that, in giving them opportunity, to just listen to them and to lead them, and to love them. Listen, lead, and love. Yeah, there you go.